All right, good morning Longfellow students and staff. Welcome back to another exciting week here at Longfellow. Today is September 26th. We are on a Monday. We've got a few things going on this week that I want to remind you of or maybe make you aware of. To begin with, our first couple days are just regular days this week. We don't have anything big or exciting going on, but starting on Wednesday, we're going to get back to our recycling group. You may have a little bit extra work this week. I know last week we had the week off, so we've got quite a bit of work that needs to be done there. And then following that day, at the end of the day, 6 o'clock, we're going to start the City High Homecoming Parade. So if you'd like to join us for that before the parade, I think we're going to gather about 5:30 over at Mercer Park, and we'll get things going for the homecoming parade. There should be some information coming home that you've seen in the Wednesday mail already, or that you're going to see in this week's Wednesday mail to help you out with that. On Thursday, we're excited. We've got a special guest coming to Longfellow in the afternoon at about 1 o'clock. Iowa Senator Joe Bolcom is going to be visiting us, and so we're going to take him on a tour. So if you see me and Mr. Bolcom around your classroom, please make sure that you welcome him and show your Longfellow pride that afternoon. On Friday the 30th, we'll wrap the week up. We've got a couple of exciting things. First, for our kindergartners, you're going to be visiting Sass Farm just after you eat lunch. I think you're going to hop on the buses and head up there. And then finally, at the end of the day at 2:45, we'll have our all-school celebration. Kids have been doing a great job, and it's time for Seymour to get his feeding this time around. So we're going to have a Dance in Your Room day at 2:45 on Friday afternoon. So we're really looking forward to that. Boys and girls, I want to review with you here in just a second some of those expectations that we've been working on all month. So things like appropriately asking for help and getting your teacher's attention. So I brought some special guests with me here this last time around for September. So I have Miss D with me, who's going to be helping, and then Mr. Luria, Miss Cotman's student teacher in 3rd and 4th grade. The two of them are very excited to be with us this morning, and so we're going to do a couple of quick skits for you just to remind you of some of those expectations. So we'll be ready to go here in just a second. Boys and girls, in this first clip, you're going to notice that Mr. Luria is doing his work, and Miss D is supposed to be doing her work, and she's going to come over and try to get the teacher's attention, which is me, Mr. Pisarik. And I want you to figure out if Miss D is getting the teacher's attention in an appropriate way, or if there might be another way that she could be getting my attention, okay? So, Mr. Luria, what are you working on today?
I'm trying to figure out some of my geography questions for the week, and things like hemispheres and countries, and trying to figure out exactly all my answers here to all the questions I was given.
Okay, so what does that word hemisphere mean? Mr.
Well,
needs to wait for just a minute, okay, please?
We were talking in class about how the world is a sphere, and
No, Miss D, right now I need to be working with Mr. Luria, okay? Can you hold on for just a minute? I'll be with you in just a second.
I want to show you this picture though, really quick.
we were talking about how if you cut the world in half, then it's hemispheres, and which hemispheres that we're in, and the northern hemisphere. And
all right, thank you, Mr. Luria. Boys and girls, in case you couldn't tell, I want you to stop for just a second and think about if Miss D was getting my attention in a good way, or if there might have been another way that she could have done that. Well, by now I bet you know the answer, and I bet you've all shared it with each other. So we're going to try one more time, and Miss D's going to show us maybe a little bit better way or a more appropriate way that she can get my attention when I help Mr. Luria. So, Mr. Luria, what are we working on today?
we're working on our geography and learning our hemispheres and what countries are in what hemispheres, and trying to figure out exactly where we are in case we have to give directions to somebody to find us.
Okay. Ms. D, I'll be able to get with you in just a minute. If you want to finish up this page, I'm going to answer Mr. Luria's question, and I'll be with you. Okay? I appreciate the way that you raised your hand and you're waiting quietly.
My question was, my teacher said that we're in two different hemispheres, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say we're in the northwestern hemisphere or if we're in the north and the western hemisphere.
So what did you guys talk about the other day? What do you think that would be?
Well, I think we just named one of them. We're either in the north hemisphere or we're in the western hemisphere. We're not in the northwestern hemisphere.
Okay, so you're correct, there aren't two hemispheres like that. That's a good job. Miss D, I appreciate the way that you were waiting. I can help you now with your problem.
Thank you. I had a question.
Okay.
Sorry to bother you.
So boys and girls, you can tell that Miss D took a very different approach that second time around, and I really appreciate being her teacher. that she could wait patiently until I got done with the first student, and then we were ready for the next question. So that's our first scenario. Our next scenario, we're going to be in kind of our read aloud setting. We're going to be back on the carpet here in just a second, and we'll see if you can figure out if Mr. Luria is doing a good job of active listening, or if he might need to do some improvements as well. Okay? Just a minute. Okay, Longfellow boys and girls, in this next setting, we're going to talk a little bit about and observe a little bit about making sure that we're not blurting out, and again that we're getting people's attention in the appropriate way in the classroom. So right now I'm in the middle of reading the kids in my class, Miss D and Mr. Luria. We're reading part of The Very Hungry Caterpillar right now, and this is kind of our read aloud time, and so I want you to observe and see if they are doing a good job of active listening and getting people's attention appropriately if they need to. So here we go. All right, boys and girls. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up, and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. Mr. Luria?
Mr. P. I stepped on a caterpillar this weekend.
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that, Mr. Luria.
Sorry.
But right now,
Sorry.
we need to have our books
Okay.
and things back where they belong
Sorry.
on the shelves, and then
Sorry.
if we could be back in body basics, you'll notice Miss D
Sorry.
next to you there we go. Very nice job, Mr. Luria. And so out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar.
Mr. P.
Yes, Mr.
Is it almost lunchtime? I'm
It is.
really hungry.
Mr. Luria, I've had this. I've had our agenda posted for the last 6 weeks here. So you'll notice that we've still got science class,
Oh.
and then it will be time for lunch. Okay, so if we could refer back to this, that would be wonderful. Okay. All right. Are you ready to listen now, Mr.
Yep,
Luria?
yep,
Could you
go ahead.
Back to body basics, please. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
So he started to look for some food, and on Monday he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. Oh, boys and girls, I don't know if you can tell, but I think my friend Mr. Luria is having kind of a tough time this morning. Let's watch another scenario where maybe he does a little bit better job of trying to get my attention if he needs it, or maybe he's just going to do a better job of doing active listening during our reading time. Okay? So here we go. Boys and girls, we're going to continue reading our story. We just got started just a little bit the other day with The Very Hungry Caterpillar by one of our favorite authors, Eric Carle. And so here is where we left off last time. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up. Pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. Adam, I like the way you're sitting quietly today. You're doing a very nice job. On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears, but he was still hungry. Boys and girls, I think you can tell a big difference in the way that Mr. Luria and Miss Selichek are able to enjoy the story, and they will enjoy our conversation after the story even more, because they both have a good idea of what's happening, because they were doing a good job of active listening, and we really appreciate that. They were sitting in body basics, they kept their hands to themselves, their voices were quiet, and I'm sure that if one of them had a question or a comment about the story, we would have seen a hand in the air to indicate to me, the teacher, that they had something to share or they had a need. Okay? Boys and girls, let's thank our special guests today, Miss D and Mr. Luria. Let's give them a round of applause. And just a couple more comments before we wrap up the broadcast this week. First, for those of you that are going to be attending the homecoming festivities this week, hopefully we'll see you at the parade. But then on Friday night, if you notice, if you're there for the crowning of the King and Queen, there are 2 Longfellow students, former Longfellow students, who are up for the homecoming court. We've got Mason Greer and also Laura Shepard, are 2 of our homecoming candidates. We're very proud of them. And ladies and gentlemen, we just hope that you have a great week, and we'll see you real soon.